All right, if you don't get goosebumps watching that, I don't know if you have a pulse. Look at this. We've got two of the greatest athletes of all time, two of the greatest boxers of all time, the baddest man on the planet, the one and only Mike Tyson, and Mr. Y'all must have forgot himself, the one and only Roy Jones Jr. Again, they do battle for the very first time on November 28th, live on TysonOnTriller.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is very exciting stuff and somewhat surreal, if I'm being honest, as a longtime fight fan. Mike, I'll start with you. I think the biggest question that everyone wants to know the answer to is why? Why at 54 years young? Why after you fought over 15 years ago, your last fight? Why are you coming back now?
Listen, I just feel magnificent. I've been training. Someone gave me a proposition to come fight. I believe it was Bob Sapp. And at first I said, hey, forget that. I don't want to fight nobody. Then a light bulb went off in my head and said, Bing, what kind of rules would he like to fight? And I said, would he box me? And then Marcus Queensberry. And then they called me, said yes. And then it went from him to someone else, and then from Shannon Briggs to someone else. And now I know I'm sitting here, I'm fighting Roy.
And yes, you are fighting Roy, and he's the biggest name of all those names that you just mentioned. Roy, when you were offered this fight against Mike Tyson, what was your initial reaction?
I mean, how can you say at a time when we're going through COVID, we got everything that everybody's faced with adversity right now. So while everybody's faced with adversity, you want to be a person who gives them something to look forward to, right? So when you get the biggest adversity to ever knock on your front door, to ring your phone, how can you say no?
November 28th at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. First up, as far as media questions are concerned, let's go to Gene Wang of Washington Post. Gene, you're up.
Hey, Mike. So I wanted to ask you about your last fight, which was in Washington.
Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. It's called
What do you recall from that night? Not so much the fight itself, but kind of the aftermath of that fight, as you're leaving the ring. Kind of what was going through your mind at that point, and your future.
I was happy to leave the ring, man. I dreaded even being in the ring at that time. I was fighting this for financial purposes and stuff. I was on a whole different. I was on drugs back then. I was a whole different person back then. You know, I have the desire to do this now and the will to do this now. And that guy that was in Washington D.C., he was just a ghost of me. I'm just ready to do this stuff, and I'm feeling really great. And I don't want to. I want the world to see how great I look.
Of Mike training at the plate, some viral footage of Mike that has surfaced, and if so, what do you think of how he looks?
Who, me?
Yeah, to you, Roy.
Oh yeah, I think he looked awesome. I mean, he looked very good. I was very
Yo,
proud.
can I
to see
commentate
him
too, bro?
bounce back the way he did, because most guys at 54, they start to count themselves out. And you got to think about boxing. When I came along at 32 years old, you were considered an old guy. You couldn't box no more. Now to see Mike be able to hit the pads and hit the body bag the way he's doing it, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's crazy. But we're freaks. That's why this is such a big thing. We're two of the most explosive guys to ever touch a boxing ring. At 54, I would have watched him beat the mitts in the bag more rather than any other young guy right now, because it's so exciting. And at 51, I'm so fast that people are looking at it saying they got to be speeding this up. No, they're not. But when you got two legends like that, how can you not get right? He inspires me just by how hard he's working and how much he's preparing to get back in the ring. And he's 3 years older than me. So if he can do it, why can't I? I know I'm smaller, but it's what it is.
Size isn't anything.
Exactly.
All right, next up, we'll go to Stephen Keating of Reuters. Stephen, you're up. Stephen, are you there? Stephen, you have to unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, Roy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to ask, how did you, knowing that you're going against Mike Tyson, knowing what's at stake, knowing that you're fighting 8 rounds with the 12-ounce gloves, do you still prepare with that same intensity that you did back in the day? Do you still train with that same intensity that you did back in the day?
I honestly, you have to be a fool not to. You go in the ring with one of the most dangerous men to ever grace the boxing ring. How could you go in there with 12-ounce gloves on, which is only 2 ounces bigger than what you normally fight in? You got on 12-ounce gloves, you know, with one of the hardest punches in boxing history, the youngest heavyweight champ of all time. And you gonna not prepare to your utmost intensity? Are you crazy? It should be even better or higher than your last time or your most intense times were, because this is a bigger situation.
All right, Stephen, thank you very much for the question. Let's go to my good friend Andres Ferrari of ESPN. Andres, you're up.
Thanks, Ariel. For both of you guys, how do you train for this fight compared to what's the biggest difference for training for this fight than when you were actively fighting in the sport? And are you doing any sparring before you go in the ring?
I'll be first. Yes, I look at films of Roy when he's at his best, because that's the guy that I anticipate fighting. I anticipate fighting him at his best. And I'm in the best of shape. And yes, I'm boxing 7 rounds so far. And it keeps improving. And I'm boxing younger guys and hungry guys. And they're ensuring me that from the looks of things, I'm doing very well. So I'm looking really forward to this. And this is going to be something I look at this, we're going to also do this from a charity perspective. So many people are going to benefit from this fight besides the fighters.
Right.
Roy, do you want to answer that?
What the question was again?
It was just, how are you preparing for the fight? And are you sparring?
Well, I prepare like I prepare for any other fight, because it's like you fighting the great Mike Tyson. How can you not be prepared for that?
Mike Tyson's gonna kill you.
Sparring. You better be sparring. I mean, how you gonna be ready to dodge punches if you're not getting them thrown at you, not in training? So it'd be stupid to not spar when you're fighting the hardest punch you probably ever gonna face in your life. How could you not spar? You better be sparring and getting ready, and the guys you spar with better understand that you sparring.
All right, next up, Manuk of the Los Angeles Times. Manuk, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time with the press conference today. I actually spoke with California State Athletic Commissioner Andy Foster, and he described this fight as a straight exhibition, going to be hard sparring. This question is for both Mike and Roy. How do you guys plan on engaging in this fight, knowing that it can't be a real fight because it's Ray Corona's job to separate you guys as soon as it gets heated?
Listen, I don't know what are you talking about? What's not a real fight? You got Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, and I'm coming to fight, and I hope he's coming to fight, and that's all you need to know.
First of all, if you think you can go in the ring with Mike Tyson, the last guy that did an exhibition with Mike got dropped in the first round. And if you don't know that, then there's something wrong with you. So who goes in the ring with the great legendary Mike Tyson and think, oh, this is the exhibition? 12-ounce gloves, no headgear? Really? This is exhibition?
America smells like shit.
For real.
So,
all right, up next, Ollie Salt of the Daily Star. Ollie, you're up.
Okay, I've got a question for Mike. Mike, given you're obviously considered the puncher in this fight, were you disappointed when it was changed to 2-minute rounds?
Absolutely. I'm sure they have their reasons for doing it, but the women fight 2 minutes. But I have to understand, this is bigger than me. They have the charity exponent, and it's not all about me. So I guess the commissioner has more of an input than I do. So who am I to talk? I mean, it's happened that we're
Mike Tyson is going to win.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that, Roy? That they moved it to 2 minutes?
I'm not happy at all. Like he said, I'm not happy at all. That's for women. I kept fighting to the last minute. I'm like, why are we doing 2-minute rounds? I don't understand that. We're not women. We two are the best to ever do it. Why we gotta go 2-minute rounds? I mean, why? We can't. What happens is gonna happen anyway. 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Mike Tyson is going to win.
So for us, what difference does it make? Why cut it to 2 minutes? 2 minutes doesn't do anything for him nor me, to be honest with you. It cheats the fans out of it, because that's their excitement. That gives us a little more time to get a little bit more fatigue, to set up a little bit better shot than we probably could set up in 2 minutes. So to me, it was all advantageous for everybody to keep it 3 minutes. But like he said, It's supposed to be a exhibition, charity event. Okay.
All right, up next, the legend, Kevin Iole of Yahoo Sports. Kevin, you're up.
Thank you, Ariel. Question for Mike. Mike, how long has it been since you last felt as good as you do right now? And do you feel like you have to make any concessions to your...
Mike Tyson's going to win.
Hey, listen, I don't know. The last time I was 215 pounds, I believe I was, 18 or 17 years old. So I'm really happy with everything that I've been doing. And it's just total confidence and self-affirmations. And man, it's just amazing. I'm just ready to do this stuff.
Great. Thank you, Mike.
Can't even explain it with words. I'm just ready to do this stuff.
Mike, I know you say that, when you get ready for a fight, you go to a different place, a different person starts to come out. Do you feel like that person is starting to come out again?
Absolutely. I can't even stay with my, the next 30 days, it'll be impossible for me to stay with my family. There's no way for me
Mike
to live with
Tyson,
me.
you're
They
the
kick me out the house.
So is this a one-off for you, Mike? Or are you planning on several fights? Is this like the restart of a new chapter?
This is an organization. This is for the Legends Leagues only. So this is I'm going to go as long as the league is working. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to help a lot of people. And my legend is going to be that I gave a lot more than I took.
Sorry about that. Roy, what about you? Is this a one and done, or do you plan on continuing to go after this fight?
I mean, for me, I used to judge about how I feel that night. I really wasn't planning on going anymore. I thought I was done. But when you get a call from Mike Tyson's team say, hey, Mike want to fight you, that's bucket list material. You feel me? I mean, you can't turn. That's something that everywhere I go in life, the first thing a young kid would ask me, hey, have you ever fought Mike Tyson? And I don't know why they used to always ask me that, but they say, their kids' first question is, have you ever fought Mike Tyson? Now I don't have to say no more. I'm so glad to get this opportunity because now I can say, yes, I did. I sure did.
And that will happen.
And guess what? Tune in 28, you'll see how it go.
Yes, it's November 28th at the Staples Center. Okay, Kelsey McCarson of Heavy and Bleacher Report, you're up.
Thanks, Helani. Mike and Roy, this is actually for both of you guys. Floyd Mayweather had an epic rant about there's too many sanctioning belts, too many sanctioning bodies involved in boxing. So I'm wondering why you two guys, two of the biggest stars in the sport, are involving the WBC in this. And so, like, why involve them at all, or any of the alphabet organizations? Why is that important?
First of all, I don't give a damn what nobody say. It ain't got to do with me. I don't give a damn what none of them say. I do what I do. My business is my business. I don't care what and nobody else say. This ain't got nothing to do with
Mike Tyson's going to win.
His lane do what he do. Let me do what I do. Secondly, when I was fighting, I wasn't like them. I wouldn't have got every belt possible that I could get in my weight class at the time. And Mike did the same thing. We come from the old school. What no talk about we'll take this with no. We want every belt you got. I don't care what kind of belt it is. It could be the Joe Patty seafood belt. I want that. I don't care what it was. If you had a belt in my weight class in my prime, I wanted that. So right now, you think you want to see me perform, you put a belt on the line. I'm sorry, but it's like drugs. I just can't say no. You offer me a title, you got me, baby. We got to do it now. So it don't mean nothing to people like him, maybe, but it meant the world to me.
And he said it all. It's like drugs.
All right, next up, Steven Jorgensen of Sport Build. Steven, you're up.
Yeah, thank you very much. This one's for Mike. I wanted to ask you, you were known in the past as the baddest man on the planet, the world's most dangerous man. What is Mike Tyson like right now? Are you approaching that old self, that old Mike Tyson from the past?
Well, no. Mike Tyson is preparing to meet God eventually. But before he do, he has things that he wants to accomplish. And this exhibition is one of them.
Thanks very much.
All right, thank you for the question. By the way, Mike, could I ask you, I've seen you work with Rafael Cordero, the great MMA trainer. Will he be your head trainer going into this fight? And why did you pick him? Of all the coaches that you could choose, why did you choose an MMA coach to be your coach?
Well, we choose him with my head coach, Billy White, but he's a great trainer. I'm so happy to have him in my corner. The energy that he possesses, it's such a winning idea to have him. Because he's all about winning. He's a great man. I love him so dearly. I have a great team of like family members energy. It's a family energy. We ready to go to war.
All right, next up, Aid of BBC. Aid, you're up.
Hi, Mike. When you walked away from boxing 15 years ago, you said it was because physically you couldn't perform at the level that you wanted anymore. How physical have your sparring sessions been, and what gives you the confidence that your body will respond the way you want it to respond on fight night?
Well, I'm the only boss. If you don't kick my ass, you're fired. So that's how the sparring's going. Everyone's doing their best, and if you're not doing your best to hit me, you have to go home. That's what sparring is. That's what fighting is all about. If I'm paying a guy to kick my ass, if he doesn't kick my ass, he has to go. He's fired.
What's it been like to take a punch?
All right, up next, Neil Barker of the AP. Neil, you're up.
Hello, gents. Nice to see you. Greetings from London. I just wondered, have the health implications of this fight crossed either of your minds? Obviously, there's lots of critics out there saying you guys shouldn't even be doing this. What precautions are you taking? How do you feel about it just weeks out now from this showdown?
Me and Roy Jones superseded the physical test on all the programs they gave us. So what did that tell you?
Roy,
you want to jump in on that one, or just Mike?
What does that tell you?
All right, fair enough. Does it bother you? Does it bother?
You did it better than Young Boy.
Yes, I do want to remind people WBC is sanctioning this fight. Ray Corona is the referee. Yes, it is the 2-minute rounds, but no headgear, 12-ounce gloves to both men and to the WBC. It is considered a real fight, not a fake fight or something of that nature. Does it bother you, Mike, that people are implying that you guys will just do a friendly sparring match, that you're not going to go full steam ahead? Does that annoy you?
Well, no one I know think that. No one that supports me believes that. I don't believe they could even cipher that.
All right, let's go to Howie of the New York Post. Howie, you're up.
Hey guys, how's it going? For Mike and Roy, I'm curious. I mean, regardless of what happens next month, is there a curiosity between you guys? What would happen if you guys fought 20 years ago?
Well, we talked about that. I went out to Texas. He was in Texas, Houston at the time, and we talked about it, but it just never materialized.
All right, thank you very much to the media. We're actually going to get to one fan question here. Let's go to a young woman named Sarai who has a little boxing background of her own. Sarai, you're up.
Hi, my name is Sarai Brownell. I'm 15 years old. I'm a USA Boxing 12-time national champion. I'm also a part of the USA Junior High Performance team. And the question I wanted to ask Mike was, what is your mindset like when you're going in the ring? And what is your mindset going to be like when you get in the ring with Roy?
My mindset is totally bliss. This is something I've done all my life since I was 13 years old. I'm more evolved now than I've ever been. My objective is to go in there with the best intentions of my life to disable my opponent. And that's just what it is.
All right. Thank you very much to Sarai, and thank you very much to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Guys, again, it is surreal to see you sitting here in front of us. We are less than a month away, November 28th on TysonOnTriller.com, and also all over the world on pay-per-view. It's going down from the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. It's a heavyweight fight sanctioned by the WBC. No headgear, no rules stopping these two from going full force. We will see who the better man is, the 54-year-old Mike Tyson or the 51-year-old Roy Jones Jr. Thank you so much for the time, guys, and best of luck in the final month of training.
Thank you.